One. And we're live. Welcome to Simon no茶の間. And, oh, I don't see my... Yes. Anyway, here we are, live in Simon's living room. And I'd like to welcome my guest all the way from just up the road here in Holland.
Hi, everyone.
It's EdEditz. Hi, Ed.
Hi, everyone. Hi there. How are you doing? Hi there.
Now,
How are you doing?
Ed is... Describe yourself, Ed. Describe yourself. What would you? How would you describe yourself? What is your forte?
Great. I'm someone who likes to be creative. I need to be busy, creative. I need to be very interested in filmmaking, technology, electronics, flying drones, that sort of stuff. Mostly filmmaking, though.
So, electronics. I mean, I don't think I've ever had anybody on the show, to my knowledge, that has expressed an interest in electronics. They all use electronics copiously with their computers and their smartphones and their cameras and whatnot. But I think you're the first guest that actually sort of knows how these things work and can take them apart and put them back together again.
I used to be one of those kids that made the toys, that broke the toys open to see how they work.
You said, Mum, I want that, and then you broke it, pulled it to pieces.
I wanted to see what was inside, how it worked.
Yeah. So, I mean, I remember as a child sort of having like I don't know whether they had them in Holland, but there's a series of books in the 60s called the Ladybird series, Ladybird books about everything, about like history, about. I think the closest I get to electronics was like a very, very basic circuit diagram in there. It's a switch and it completes the circuit and that's it. So I mean, how did you? I mean, you became fascinated by the interior of electronic devices,
and especially in the 80s, the CB community was very big. People had CBs, talking to each other. So I got fascinated.
I remember.
I got fascinated with transmitters, and just the idea of soldering some resistors together, and then having your voice on the radio, that was magical to me. So I just started to be interested in transmitters, and I collected some schematics, and I tried to build my own. And about a year later, I actually succeeded. I still have that transmitter. I tried.
Right. This is the original EdEditz transmitter.
This is the original EdEditz transmitter. It's in a cigar case, and this is an FM pirate transmitter.
Oh right. Oh right. So you went around on your bike in Holland, sort of going up in the woods and said, "This is Radio Eddie."
I didn't dare transmit it because the fines were very high. But I just wanted to know how to build them.
Yeah, it looks incredibly complicated. How old were you when you made that?
14.
14. God.
And
probably. I mean, I blame my lack of maths ability for not becoming an electrical engineer. I mean, do you need a certain logical and mathematical approach when dealing with that?
Yeah, you need to be precise. And I mean, radio frequencies, they are very touchy, and you need to know how they react to copper surfaces on the circuit board and stuff like that. Yeah, antennas need to be tuned to the right frequency, so you need some background knowledge.
And does this require sort of like a certain amount of calculation as well, presumably? And
not really. That's if you have the schematics, then that's done for you.
Okay. Yeah. So yes, there's no algebra in. No. Oh, good.
I'm not good enough to design transmitters. I just build them. I can't design them. My knowledge doesn't go that deep.
And you still do this. You still sort of. I noticed in some of your videos on your channel that you do make electronic devices.
Yeah, I recently shifted my interest to synthesizers and how synthesizers work. So I ordered all sorts of China that make noise, put them together and see how it works.
Mm.
That's what I put on my website sometimes. And that's what I'm interested in now, not transmitters anymore.
Mm. And so now this is like synthesizers, and I've seen some of the devices you've done videos of you making. But when you say that you don't really need maths to do this, but so when you start to build these devices, is it from an artistic viewpoint, a creative, like you're fascinated, like as I say, you're fascinated with how it works, or do you intend to build something that will have a practical use? That sort of I need such and such, and I'm going to build it.
I'd like to build some sort of hardware that involves all those sound and flashing lights and stuff like that. To make a work of art with it, that would be really cool.
Ah. Yes, I mean, my friend in Hong Kong. Hi, Robert. Hi, CC. That's a friend from Canada and a friend from Japan there.
Welcome.
Yeah, my friend in Hong Kong, the singer, she works at a theatre, or she's studying at a theatre, and she's developing, I think, in tandem with them, a kind of a device that responds to sound to create random imagery or something in that sense. So yes, it's
yeah, I like this stuff very much. Yeah. I like to build it.
I wouldn't know where to start.
It's a good place to start. I mean, it's a good place. Everything you want to know is there. Really, you just have to implement it.
You say you saw a lot of things on YouTube as well, sort of that inspired you to to do this kind of stuff. Yeah. So I mean, for those in our audience and watching later, Ed has actually been on YouTube almost since the start, from about 2006, 2007.
Yeah, June 2006. June 2006.
2006. So very early days, and I'm just curious. I mean, I started in 2012, I think. So by then it had sort of built up speed and was suggesting things to people. But in those days, what did you search for, and what did you find actually on YouTube?
Well, I started uploading my own and made up videos, and then I discovered all these people making videos. I don't know about Brookers. YouTube star. She got a TV contract out of it. Never went anywhere, but she made really creative little videos impersonating Harry Potter and stuff like that. So it was sort of really small, You got to know people. You otherwise never got to know. So that attracted me about it.
Yes, I mean it's quite a lot. What I enjoyed about YouTube, or still enjoy, is the fact that it's like, I mean, up until YouTube came along, you had TV, and you were you were kind of stuck with what you were presented with,
Exactly,
the channels that were available, and whatever they decided to show you, and you couldn't really interact with any of the people making the show unless you actually went on to the studio and sat in the audience.
Yeah.
But with YouTube, I mean, obviously the quality was not as high in terms of technically as television, but you could interact with it, which was
that was the biggest aspect. That was the biggest I liked about it.
Yeah,
I liked about it. You really got to know these people. You make comments, and then they write back to you. In my eyes, these people have 30,000 subscribers. They are famous to me, and then they write back to me. I mean, it's really cool.
Yeah, I agree totally, and I've been lucky enough to meet them in person as well, which is good.
I have met one or two. I have met one or two myself.
Is it? I mean, but since 2006, it's grown exponentially.
Yeah, it's been commercialized.
Yes. So that my next question was: do you think the expansion of YouTube has had any adverse effects on the creative video making, or do you think the opposite? Do you think
absolutely. In the beginning, you could use copyrighted music, and that was a really cool aspect about it. I mean, they couldn't do anything about it. You just use cool songs that make for cool videos, but now you have to be very careful. Yeah, that dampens the joy a bit for me.
Yeah. Well, it maybe forces you to be more creative in your search for music.
Absolutely.
But I mean, in terms of actually getting your videos. I mean, for example, you make art videos, and I mean, I studied video art. But if I was just before looking for backdrops for the show, and I always did a search for video art, and it was a very thin list of stuff, which very quickly went on to just like people talking about art in a particular period, and not, or uploads of TV shows about art, but very few actual video art pieces. So
yeah, they've been drowned out.
Just wondering whether
drowned out.
Yeah.
I mean, there used to be a lot of that back in the day. People make art videos, but but not anymore.
Yeah.
There's a Frenchman I know who does it. He makes very cool videos.
It can be used as a platform, but yeah. But it's not caught on in the way that video artists hope that it might.
No.
I mean, it's a bit like film in that respect. I mean, people like back in the very early days of movies and Eisenstein and all that business. Lots of art movies, which nobody's ever heard of or seen much.
Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Popular entertainment medium.
Yeah.
So, I mean, having said all that, I mean, do you still feel inspired to make video art?
Not so much lately. I'm really into drones now and making aerial photos now. That's where my interest lies at the moment. But I might return to it.
I mean, because looking back through your back catalogue, there are quite a lot of video art pieces. So, yeah.
Some of them have even been shown in Seattle.
Ah. At an exhibition.
Yeah, an art gallery. Yeah. There's an American friend of mine.
It's to actually be seen. Yes.
What? No, that was really cool. It was an American friend of mine, Jeff. He recently died, by the way, but he organized all that way. But he helped a lot of young artists to get famous. It's a big loss. Seeing him go.
I mean, did you actually get to go there, or was it just your videos that went there?
No, just my videos went there. Love to have gone to Seattle.
Yeah. There's no meet and greet with the artists. So.
No. Nice.
I think my video art. Hi, Radri. He's saying hi. EdEditz from. This is Radri. He's a friend from Japan, American guy. He's a filmmaker.
I'm not seeing anything in my. Chat box.
You're not seeing anything in comments. He just said hi, EdEditz, and hi, Simon.
Oh, okay. Hello.
But yeah, I mean, I think my video art never got further than the college walls.
I didn't expect my video art to go any further than that either. But if people see it, you might get a chance. I did win a competition with a portrait I made of Queen Beatrix in Photoshop. in Photoshop.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, we'll get on to that. About, I mean, yes. Ah yes. So which aspects when you were inspired to make it? So currently you're not, you're on a sabbatical from video art. You're having a video art maker's block.
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah. But when you did make video art, what I shall have to put it in the past tense now. What aspects did you enjoy the most? The actual pre-production thinking of, you know, what I'm going to make, or the actual physical making of it, going out and filming the footage, or putting it all together in post-production? Which of those was the most sort of motivating aspect, or were all three equal?
Making was cool, but what I liked the most was the editing. Seeing it all come together, and you have an idea in your head, and then suddenly it takes shape on the screen. That's really cool to see. It's the thing I loved about it most.
So when you set out, you had a vague idea. You shot the footage, and then it crystallized more in the post-production. You know, so the ideas actually emerged then. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe sometimes the idea,
you can stay awake.
Yeah, that's cool. The cool aspect about it. You never know what's coming out at the end.
Ah, well, yeah. I mean, generally, when making, do I know video toaster art? Asks Radri. Well, I've seen. I've seen. Do you mean the actual toast where it's been toasted at different temperatures to produce a picture on the bread, or is this art made with toasters? I'm not sure. Do you know anything about that, Ed?
No, never heard of it.
Never heard of it. You'd have to explain more precisely, Adri. Is that video art? Is that art? Video toaster art? Not quite sure. Explain.
It's a weird one. It's a new one on me.
Well, we carry on.
It's a new one on me.
EdEditz has a long edit. Where were we? I've lost the thread. Oh yes, the creative process. I mean, yes, when I create YouTube videos, I generally go out with an idea. So it was usually going to film a rather nice piece of countryside, and then I would to save on editing, I would edit in my head on the go, kind of, and take the shots in sequence, more or less in sequence, and with the occasional sort of bit of beef footage.
Edit in camera.
And so when I got back,
edit in camera.
I could, in camera editing, and then there was not a lot of, because I didn't have a very good video editor, and not a lot of effects either. So.
It used to be a hobby of mine. Hacking good editing software and getting plugins for it.
Ah.
I've got a collection you wouldn't believe.
He's talking about the Echo.
You wouldn't believe.
Yeah, Ed has probably got an Echo. It could be the fact that my headphones, my €3 or $3 headphones, broke.
Yeah, I've got an enormous echo.
I've got an enormous echo. I'm getting Ed's voice coming through my speakers and going back into my. I'm sorry about that. I shall invest.
Never mind. We'll get through it.
So yeah, so the creative process for you is actually at the end of
mostly.
Mostly. But that is all by the way, because that has been replaced by drones, and for that I shall go to a more appropriate backdrop. There we are. And don't blame me if you feel dizzy, folks. But this is some drone footage from Japan. Has to be a bit of Japan in there. Hey, Englandese. Hello. Did you get your baked beans? This is what we want to know. Englandese is a friend of mine from Yamaguchi.
Okay.
I should be hopefully meeting up with him when I go there. This is Miyazaki, by the way, in the background.
Cool.
Beautiful. Cool. Yeah, so this is drone footage. And when did you discover drones?
About a year ago. I had a bit of a financial windfall and I was able to buy one. Really.
Was it, so it was something you'd wanted for a while then, kind of thing?
Yeah. Too expensive for me, but...
I mean, so technically you discovered them a little bit before that?
Yeah, okay, yeah. About a year before that. Yeah, about a year before that. Yeah.
I mean, you discovered, I mean, drones in and of themselves just go up and down and move about, but it's the fact that they've got they're coupled with a camera, presumably, is what makes them attractive.
Yeah, they're the ultimate filmmaking tools. That's what attracts them to me. That's what attracts them to me. Sorry, it's the echo.
I mean, yes, you can certainly do things like what's going on in the background here, which you couldn't do ordinarily unless you were hanging out of a helicopter on a rope holding your camera.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have to hire a helicopter to get those shots.
Yeah. So there's all these helicopter businesses have gone out of business.
Oh, I bet. I want to bet. Yeah, absolutely. I want to bet. Yeah, absolutely.
So now this is kind of, for me, this is, I mean, it's very nice footage.
Yeah, it's a bit slow.
You can get a lot of very sort of interesting shots. But I mean, there's a lot of it about. So my next question is: do you think drone footage these days can be creative, or do you think it's become quite standardized?
It has become quite standardized. I mean, almost everybody is doing it now. Drones are becoming very accessible, so you get a lot of the same. What I like is going fast and low on the deck. You know, that's why I'm getting into racing drones now.
Yeah. So look, I have seen a racing drone video going, and they did it through some pine trees, so it was a bit like sort of Star Wars thing going through the forest there. That was quite fun.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
And that leads nicely on to the next question, because I noticed on Facebook you recently acquired a racing drone controller.
Yep.
Now, are racing drones? Are they fitted? Are the drones themselves, racing drones, are they fitted with cameras? I mean, do you sort of like all stand there with like VR headsets on racing through the trees, or do you have to actually watch where it's going physically?
That's the idea. No, they have cameras that transmit the signal right to the goggles, so it's like you're on board. You're actually in the pilot seat.
Oh wow!
In the pilot seat.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's very immersive. Really cool. It's very immersive.
You can see a tree coming to you at a relative speed of like 60 miles an hour.
Yeah,
get out of the way, quick.
Yeah. I hope I'll be able to learn how to control that.
Star Wars, I can imagine it's a bit like Star Wars pod racing, and you swing into the sort of like the competitors bash his drone out the way.
It would be cool. Can't wait.
Yeah,
can't wait.
So you've yet to experience this. Then have you tried it out? I mean, you've got the controller now. So have you hooked it up to your standard drone?
No, that's not possible. I have to wait for the money to buy one. I have to wait for the money to buy one.
Oh, you can't connect it with the drone you already have.
No, that has its own controller, and you can't. That has its own controller, and you can't connect the other one to it.
Ah, right. Can't hack it. I mean, you're an electronics engineer. Why can't you?
Oh, this controller is perfectly okay. Why would I hack it?
Oh no. So you could. I mean, yeah. I can just imagine sort of like hot rodding your DJI Mavic to make it a.
Like, if I could make it go faster, that would be cool.
Yeah, so the rocket pods on it. Yeah, sort of exploding drones. That'd be an expensive one.
Yeah, indeed. It's almost 1100.
Bradbury has just explained video toaster art. It's VHS footage mixed with computer graphics. It sounds very 80s. I was doing that sort of thing.
Sounds a bit like glitch art.
Yes, when video editing was actually physically moving the tape backwards and forwards with controllers.
The good old days.
Yeah.
Glad those are over.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, the echo's gone. Oh no, it's
Well,
slightly.
it's gone. Hopefully, it's gone for the audience. I don't know, but
the audience was experiencing it also.
yes.
Oh, cool.
Oh, well, Radri, anyway, in his apartment, was experiencing echo.
What mind
So I mean,
controlling
this
drugs
is
are you
quite a
using?
cool location. I mean, in the background, going on here, on and on and on and on. But what is the coolest drone footage or location that you've seen or actually been at? Would you say?
Well, it's not so much a location. It's flying above the fog, flying above the mist. That's what's
Oh yes.
really the coolest footage.
Anybody who's seen the advert for this show, that's the opening shot.
Yeah,
I was quite impressed by that.
that looks really cool.
Yeah, Ed had flown his drone above actually the apartments near where he lives, and it had been a misty morning,
Yeah.
and it just looks very kind of surreal and almost science fictiony.
Yeah, it's amazing. If there's a fog outside, I always take the drone out. Usually early in the morning, and then when it rises above the clouds, and suddenly the sun begins to shine. You know, it's magic. It's like flying straight into heaven. It's a really cool sight. Those are the videos I like most.
And with the appropriate music, presumably.
Absolutely, yeah. I have to search for that. No, I usually have something in my library. I sometimes devote whole afternoons to searching for good music. So and just put them in my library, so I have something to choose from right away.
Oh,
So when I'm editing, I don't have to do that. It's already done.
I think it's Radri's internet because it says the stream died, but we're still here.
Yeah.
Is any of the other remaining 4 viewers? Please put their hands up. Englandese, you had your bean. Okay, it's a good job that we're 9,000 kilometers apart. Englandese, Robert's gone. Robert's gone. Had vids of your mom. And Cece, can you say something? Are we still going? Can you still see us? Or is it just Radri that's lost us?
I can't see any chat.
It's like you couldn't do this back in the day. You know, BBC couldn't sort of say, "Hello, audience. can you tell us we're still being transmitted?" Ah, right. He sees us.
Okay, but he doesn't hear us.
Can you hear us? Can you hear? It's probably echo. Just had the blackout.
Well, they can watch us later. I mean, you're taping this.
Nice. He's getting all dressed up and ready to be on 2.5 yards. He's waiting for the call. Probably, I know. So yeah, going up through the clouds or the mist on a morning. Yeah, I would agree. Actually, yeah, Ed's echo is gone.
Oh, cool.
It's probably internet.
Yeah, it was very annoying. I'm hearing myself speak. So.
Filming that kind of thing, as a YouTuber, and your long experience of having made YouTube videos, if there were any budding YouTubers out there, all 3 of them watching at the moment, and probably watching afterwards, what advice would you give? Would you have any advice to give her or him if they? I mean, things I've heard are just get whatever camera and go and do it. Or
yeah, the most important thing is the idea. Don't concentrate too much on the equipment. I mean, of course, it has to be good. I mean, you have to be able to get a good quality picture, but don't go too far in the equipment direction. The idea is totally important. Idea is king.
Yeah, and I would put in, you do what you like.
Yeah.
Don't do what you think
Absolutely.
use. Do what you like, you know, and if you're lucky, people will enjoy it, and you'll get subscribers.
Yeah, but if you do what you like, then that really shows through in the video, I think, and then people can see that you love doing what you do, and the quality automatically gets better. So I think it shows through in the video if you really like what you're doing.
So actually, and my next question was actually going to be about the music, but we both agree that sometimes you can spend hours looking for the right music, and we were talking before as well that sometimes you find the music quite quickly beforehand, and that dictates how the video is edited, whereas I do the opposite.
Yeah, I used to look for music first. Jamendo is a good site for that.
What's that?
Jamendo.com. They have a lot of independent artists, which allow you to use their music. They usually have really
when I'm making my adverts, I generally just cream off. Because it's only sort of like a minute's worth of mute, and it usually gets muted while I and the guests announce what's going to be on the show. So I don't think it could hold it against us that we use. I mean, I've used obscure things. I've used obscure 60s Japanese jazz pop. So
okay.
Not going to be chased down by a record company.
No, very unlikely. Very unlikely. You can also put your own beat underneath, so that the algorithms don't recognize it.
Ah, yeah. Oh. My eldest son is learning the bagpipes, so that could be at some future time.
That might not be the best idea. But I have audio editing software, so I have a small beat underneath, so that disturbs the algorithm, so it doesn't get recognized.
Yeah, that's true. It's the algorithm. Yeah, algorithms are taking over.
Yeah.
I mean, even people think that robots would take jobs of workers, but it's not. Algorithms are going to take the job of middle management. So everybody's being targeted by algorithms.
Scourge of our time.
Now, for anybody who may be interested in going to Ed's channel, they'll notice quite a variety of videos. We've, like this backdrop here, we've discussed his interest in electronics, which developed from destroying toys at an early age, and has progressed now to synthesizers. He doesn't destroy synthesizers; he just likes to learn how to make them.
Yeah.
But if you go and look at his videos, you can find quite a lot of things. The video art, the electronics, but also your most popular videos were actually when you went to Oxford and visited the locations of Inspector Morse.
Yeah, that's surprising. People seem to like those a lot. Especially about the Museum of Natural History, with the dinosaur skeletons and stuff. It's a very popular video.
That appears in the advert there, I remember. But there's quite a variety of interests on the. I mean, like you say, you do, when we were talking about advice for YouTubers, you do what you like.
Yeah.
So some YouTubers stick to kind of one theme, and it's that, or they have a hobby or something and they stick with that. And the mukbang videos where people just eat, and that's their theme, and they don't have any other kinds of videos.
Yeah.
But you have quite a variety. Have you ever considered doing given that the Inspector Morse ones get the most views, have you ever been tempted to do a kind of a mashup with Inspector Morse locations via drone with arty After Effects?
That will be quite a challenge, I think. No, I like to keep the things apart. I mean, Inspector Morse was purely about locations. I was a big fan of that series and wanted to see it for myself, and I just thought I'd take my YouTube audience along. So that's how they came to be. It had nothing to do with the rest of what I do on YouTube, the art videos, stuff like that. It was just a little vacation for me, really, and it's a pleasant surprise to me that they are so popular, these videos. So,
you're not tempted to do it like sort of.
Well, listen.
I mean, do you have any other sort of like favorite, like Sherlock or something like that?
I made one about the Sherlock Holmes Museum.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, and the one about Natural History Museum, I did put a little bit of effects in that. You see the toe of one of the dinosaurs. You see the toe wiggling of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. It freaks a lot of people out. I animated that.
I like that, like subterfuge in regular videos. I mean, yeah, that could be a theme. That could be a theme in your next video. You know.
Yeah, I like the idea.
That's Frederick from Zurich.
Ah, cool. Beautiful, Switzerland.
So there's no possible mashup video on the cars, but possible subterfuge, drone videos with subterfuge.
Yeah, I like to trick people with a little bit of After Effects. I'll probably keep doing that.
So we know that YouTube has become, like you say, it's become slightly commercialized, but you can still find. I mean, it's basically the one source for obscure stuff. Whereas television, on the other hand, which is the big competitor of YouTube, and to my mind, the losing player at the moment, has become. Do you think it's become too straight? I mean, in reference to this, I mean, and the fact that you're Dutch, and I used to watch Dutch TV or children's TV with my kids. And those shows, Dutch TV shows for kids, looked like they'd been made by people who've had too many mushrooms and did cabaret on the side.
Yeah, they were psychedelic.
But now it's all that was back in the sort of the 90s and early 2000s. But now it's all fairly sort of straight and standard. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I think television's on its way out. Really. I mean, watch on demand. Getting really big. Netflix. I think eventually TV will just be too expensive to produce.
That being said, Netflix relies on. I mean, I'm sure there are Netflix own TV series made, but they rely on TV series, things like the Walking Dead and Breaking Bad and things, which were essentially made for television. But the thing, but the thing on the on-demand thing is what is killing television, really.
Yeah.
And YouTube is instant. You can,
YouTube's fantastic. You can make contact with the content creators. That's the really cool thing about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're not accountable, audience.
No,
we don't care. We're not accountable. We just have to accept it.
No, but I think TV is on its way.
Bradbury has I'm not an After Effects expert. I have no. I mean, I just use DaVinci Resolve free version. Thank you, Robert, who's already gone. But he's saying, from a rating of 10 to 1, 10 being extremely difficult, how would you rate After Effects?
7 to 8. 7 to 8. Took me 2 years to learn it.
I mean, for example, the user interface on Resolve, which is mostly a color grading software rather than editing, so there's not a lot of effects on the free version.
Yeah, I know it.
It's still very clunky, and lots of terms that you'd have to have studied video editing at a professional level to understand what they were talking about. Is that similar with After Effects, or is it quite sort of like commercial, sort of user friendly for the average person?
No, it's not user friendly at all. If you start After Effects up, it's all grayed out. Nothing works. You really need to know how to start a composition and then how to get layers and everything. So you really need to study it. Not very intuitive if you start out with it. But once you learn it, then you get it. You need to get it. It's the same as Photoshop. It's the same as Photoshop.
So After Effects is actually for video footage.
Yeah, it's Photoshop for video.
Photoshop for video. So basically, if you buy After Effects, you've also got to buy sort of a fairly powerful computer in order for it to to work properly.
Yeah, you really need a good graphics card. You really need a good graphics card, at least. So.
After Effects is like Photoshop on wheels.
On steroids. On steroids.
Steroids. Oh dear. I was using YouTube Editor and Windows Movie Maker quite successfully.
Well, that's what I started with, so why not? That's what I started with, so why not? I loved Windows Movie Maker when I started editing. Wow.
Yeah, and it's the only thing I have with that is that it sometimes, I don't know why, but it leaves sort of clicking noises between edits. That's very annoying. I have to sort of crop the edit in to remove the sound click.
Okay.
Must be some kind of glitch on my system. Anyway,
what annoyed me about it was that it only has one layer.
Yes, yes. There's not a lot you can do with it, you know. That being said, that forces you to be creative from the camera end. You know, get really good shots, get creative shots, get sort of and good angles, that kind of thing, and then it's all just a question of stitching them together. I mean, effects and grading are okay, but if the material,
yeah, if the material sucks, you used to be able to recognize Windows Movie Maker videos by the effects they used. They were all so well known. I mean, all the film effects and the color and stuff.
Gray line and some bubbles.
Yeah, exactly. that Y-shaped speck of dust that always returns, immediately recognizable.
Yeah. Early YouTube, says Rotary. Yeah. Yes, 360p.
Yeah, 240p. Horrible.
Yes, I think I've got that on my little pocket phone. You could.
Oh, you still have one of those?
Well, yeah. I mean, this is the actual phone that I use as a phone. My smartphone hardly ever gets used as a phone.
Oh, okay.
Now then, we're jumping back to drones. I got a bit dizzy watching the electronic circuit diagram coming at me. But have you ever thought of now that you've got a racing drone, now that you've got a drone, and you've made drone videos, have you ever thought of combining a 360-degree camera on a drone with VR goggles?
I've recently seen someone do that. It looked really cool. So I would love to try that out. I think it's
This is your challenge for now.
Absolutely. I don't know how I would implement that, but I mean, can't control the camera from the goggles, so you have to use a fixed camera. But if you have 360 footage, you can edit it later and take the most beautiful parts from it. So
Yes, and part of my question was sort of when you've made the video, you can do a YouTube giveaway, like free sick bags.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I think that will be necessary. It will be very shaky. Yeah. Oh, who knows what the future brings? I hope to get a racing drone in 2 months' time.
Yeah, so yeah, we were talking racing drones. My question was, do they actually have cameras on them? And they do. I thought perhaps racing drones were a bit like radio-controlled cars. Well, I'll come back to that. I don't want to go back to that. Why is it locked on that? Stop.
What's it doing?
It won't go back. Help. Let's just go to a green screen. There we are. Yeah, the racing drones were a bit like radio-controlled cars or radio-controlled airplanes. and that the competitors just stood in the field with their controllers and raced against it. But you actually use cameras on the drone.
Yeah, you have a camera on the drone, and you get the images projected in the goggles, so it's like you're in the pilot seat. It's really cool. Very immersive. Really cool. Very immersive.
Yeah, and you could like you could do sort of Star Wars pod racing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Attack the other players.
Yeah. Yeah, but I wouldn't know how to control them otherwise. I mean, if you're not in the pilot seat, you're just watching them from the field or something, then I don't think it's that easy to control them. So they're going so fast.
I think, what was it? Your current drone does 5 kilometers an hour or something maximum speed.
65 kilometers an hour. Yeah.
Good grief.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's not fast enough.
Banned from cities. You've got this thing coming out, 65 kilometers an hour.
It weighs almost a kilo, so it can make quite an impact at that speed. But,
yes, they're kind of like banned in Japanese cities. I
understand
why. Yeah.
I've seen them in Berlin. In Berlin, you can just fly in the city. It's really cool.
Wow.
Yeah. I hope to do that. Berlin is one of my favorite cities. I hope to go back there.
I've never been there. I mean, it's
beautiful city.
Not that far from you know, I'm not that far from you, but I mean, theoretically, I'm not that far from Berlin. But
if you ever get a chance, go there. It's a really cool vibe there, a real creative vibe.
I remember, I mean, back in the day when it was East and West Berlin, and East Berlin was the more happening place.
I've been in East Berlin when it was still DDR. It was January 1990, just 2 months after the wall came down. I went there for a day with the bus. Oh man, I was really tired after that, but I was glad I did it. I got to see East Berlin as it really was. So,
grotty.
Yeah, really gray and no shops. It was a really depressing place.
Radri is asking a weird question. He said, "Do you think wars will be fought online in the future?"
No, you can't hurt each other online. No, it may be a weapon.
Cyber attacks, but I mean,
cyber attacks, yeah.
In the sense, possibly correct. I mean, they are currently. I mean, the drone bombers and drone missiles are actually now operated online by the pilots.
Yeah, okay.
But
that's not really internet to me.
Yes, you can hurt each other, but no, there'll be it's mostly the civilians probably that will get hurt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that's remote control military stuff. That's not really online. That's not really cyber war to me.
Sort of overweight and lazy. And yeah, when they send them in to occupy, it's just like they'd be easy. There'd be a pushover.
Yeah, spotty youths like South Park.
Now, this is just a random question. I mean, because I'm getting thirsty and I don't want to drink any more of this wine. But I'm in Belgium, and Belgian beers are pretty good.
I agree.
Up there with Austria and Germany and everything. And you're in Holland, and I mean, I've had Heineken, and that's about it. Well, can any Dutch beers compete, do you think?
I'm not much of a beer aficionado, but there are some very good Dutch beers, but I don't know if I can compete. I mean, Belgium is really good at their beer making, so I'm not really the person to ask that question to. But I think I really like Belgian beer, so if I buy beer, it's Belgian.
First time I had somebody from Holland on the show, so I thought they would know.
Not me really. I'm not really into alcohol. I smoke though. I'm not a teetotaler.
Well, yeah, that's Holland. I mean, when I went to Amsterdam, and I wandered about, like within about 5 minutes, somebody came up and said, "Do you want to buy some weed?"
No. Nothing's changed.
I've just eaten Pickle herring. I don't want to eat.
Oh, that's disgusting. I don't eat any fish or herrings or anything that comes out of the sea. Nothing like that. No, not for me.
I remember we had you know, like a whole one from a stand and just put it.
Yeah, that typically Dutch thing. I've never done that.
I was fine, but sort of shortly after that, my friend got diarrhea.
I'm not surprised.
La guillotine beer. That sounds French, Bradbury.
Yeah. What does that do? Cut your head off or something?
Vids of your mom is responding to the demise of Bradbury's dog, or Bradbury having some guillotine beer. Ah, it's from Belgium. Ah, right.
Okay.
Excuse my ignorance. He's playing video games, so he's not paying that much attention.
Okay. Yeah. Typical.
Yeah. I shall probably be watched on the toilet at some point in the future by people who are not watching the live.
Oh, that's okay. As long as he's having fun.
Now, I noticed in some of your videos, and those of you who do go and visit Ed's channel, that amongst his videos there are art videos, but there are videos where he's collaborated with other YouTubers. And I was talking to him about this before the show, and I was asking, are there any YouTubers he would like to collaborate with at the moment? And what was your answer, Ed?
No, not at the moment. No, I don't really know any of my old friends from YouTube anymore. So people I watch now are the big ones like Casey Neistat, and they have a work ethic that make me tired just looking at them. They're so busy, so successful, and they're millionaires. And no, it's not for me. Not for me.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's a bit like Ham last week. I was asking. My question to her was like that she's been on YouTube since 2007, I think, and her channel has basically stayed more or less the same at the level. And she's just happy, just doing her own thing and not searching for fame and subscribers. And I guess you must be the same.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I like to do my own thing, and whether my audience likes that or not. Yeah. I'm not interested in subscriber numbers.
I mean, I quite like to get a subscriber now and again. I mean, but I mean, I've been on YouTube since 2013, 12, 13, making videos, and I now have 268 subscribers.
Well, I have now something about 850, and I've built that up since 2009. That's when I started this channel. I had another channel before that. It was called Refi 2006. But I had commercial videos on that, music videos, so I had to delete that channel.
Oh, you deleted it?
Yeah, I had to because I was getting notices. So, but that had about 10,000 subscribers, so it was really a shame to delete it. But I had to delete it.
Wow.
I had to. Yeah. But that's purely because it was videos that I didn't make, stolen commercial videos.
Bradbury's saying it's best to apply Buddhist philosophy to YouTube, otherwise it's depressing.
I agree.
Yes. Karma, YouTube karma. Yeah, those with low subscriber numbers did something bad in a previous life.
Okay. The ones with 10 million subscribers, there must be real saints.
Yeah, although the karma is building them up for a fall or something.
Oh yeah, the higher you climb, the deeper you fall. No, but you have to make constant content.
Constant what?
You have to make constant content if you want to be famous. I mean, it's such a commitment.
I'll do my best.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, doing this constant. I mean, doing it once a week is hard enough.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Doing it every day.
God.
like vlogging, you know.
Now speaking of I mean, we're on a live stream now, and all your videos are recorded and edited. But have you ever live streamed?
No, never.
Not necessarily. We were talking about live streaming an art performance, for example. But I mean, doesn't necessarily. Would you, for example, live stream live drone racing on the EdEditz channel or something like that?
Oh, that could happen in the future. I wouldn't exclude that, but I've never done it before. But as part of art exhibition, it would be possible. I wouldn't say no to that. But I like to be in control. I like to present edited videos that are finished products. I don't like the uncertainty of you don't know what happens.
I had trepidations. I mean, when I started doing this show, I mean, it's all like you've experienced. It's fairly a controlled situation, with the questions and coordination between host and guest and all that business. But when I run out of guests, I have to go and do a live stream, and quite. I had trepidations about just appearing with myself in front of a camera, wandering about, trying to sort of stream of consciousness for an hour. But it worked fine. I mean, it's largely due to the audience. Thank you, audience, who you interact with. So that would be the I think the motivating factor for doing a live stream, and you wouldn't have to worry about the end product, because you'd be kind of just chatting with what are essentially friends.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe I think too much. of it.
Next week on EdEditz channel live stream.
No, I don't think so. I did make videos about spray painting picture stuff. I had a time that I was spray painting, but that wasn't live either.
Or on canvas.
On canvas, yeah.
Oh, right. And any of those videos still available to see? I don't think I noticed anything.
I don't know. I think you'll have to dig. I'm not sure if they're still up.
Special prize for all those in the audience who can find one of Ed's spray painting videos.
They're rare.
Now, this whole idea of YouTube and being able to interact with the audience and also collaborating with other YouTubers, I mean, for me, it's been with a lot of the guys in the audience here, and then most of them are in Japan or have connections with Japan. Is there any kind of group of people that you feel you're a part of on YouTube, or do you still feel kind of like you're just doing your own thing, or are there the YouTubers that you communicate with and so on? And
yeah, there's not a group that I'm part of, but there are a few YouTubers that I communicate with. There's a girl I know in the Netherlands that I communicate with a lot. She is handicapped. I was handicapped when her camera was broken. I was able to do that then. I'm very happy. And she later got famous. She was contacted by Red Link. I don't know if you know Link. Famous YouTubers. They made a song about Harry Potter using the vlog that she made. That made her very famous. And I was the middleman, actually. I put them in contact with her because I had a phone number.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that was a cool thing.
And are you still in touch with her?
Yeah, I'm still in touch with her. Not much. She works now, but we still exchange Christmas cards and stuff like that.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I mean, that's what I also liked about YouTube. I mean, it describes itself as a kind of a social media site, and there is a kind of community. And certainly in the earlier days, before everybody started getting super famous, and still now, there is a kind of a community feel to it, which I enjoy.
Yeah, that's what I like to. It's not so prevalent now as it was.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, they've all moved to YouTube Red or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Exactly.
You have to buy your friends.
Yeah, you have to buy your friends. Yeah, you have to be popular. You have to
pay us to be your friend on YouTube. Anybody in the audience got any questions they'd like to ask Ed?
I still can't see the chat, so you have to.
You still? Oh yes, I shall have to relay any questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Vids of your mom is probably in the middle of Call of Duty somewhere, and Radri has just depressed himself. And, I don't know what CC is doing. She's probably like gone to take dogs for a walk or something. And Ty is probably smoking dope.
Okay.
Playing his guitar.
Okay.
Favorite video game? That's right. Oh, there's a question. Radri's on the ball. He's not depressed. What's your favorite video game?
Call of Duty. Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. There you are, Vids Mom. Call of Duty. I mean, Call of Duty. I played World at War. That's my only Call of Duty experience, and that I mean, I played it on extreme because that's what I like to do. But that was if you don't move forward in Call of Duty, you get stuck, and the enemies just spawn endlessly.
Yeah, I've discovered that too. I'm not really a gamer. I really like that game, but I got stuck too. I left it there and left it later and played it again. Gaming is not really my thing.
I don't know. What does a Call of Duty man look like? Radri says that you don't look like a Call of Duty man.
I can't imagine why he says that. They are usually younger.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm getting 50 this week.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah. I'm an old geezer.
Hey, shut up! I'm older than you.
Okay.
Any more questions? Like Vids of Mom. How do you get past this point in Call of Duty? Just shoot everything in sight as fast as you can and run. Basically, that's all it is. It's no tactics. Okay. Well, I'd like to Call of Duty men are like 15-year-olds who want to be really in the military. There you are. Gauntlet's been thrown down from Radri to Vids of your mom. If you're still watching Englandese, I'll be in touch and hopefully see you in about 3 weeks when I come to Japan. And Radri, I shall see you in about 4 weeks when I get into Tokyo. 4 or 5 weeks. Frederick, I don't know whenever I'll see you, but Vids of your mom, carry on playing. And Cece, if you're around in Tokyo with Tokyo Joe, I'm hoping to meet up with a lot of people. So, you know, I have to go to Kanazawa, don't I? Yes. Bring some Strobe waffles. Okay.
Strobe.
Yes. Can you open your suitcase? What have you got here?
Strobe waffles.
Do you mean those biscuits? Do you mean those sort of like syrup biscuits? Syrup waffle biscuits? I don't know. What does he mean, strobe waffles?
Syrup waffles.
Delicious. It's a 12-hour flight. Anyway, I'd like to thank Ed for being my guest this week on the show.
My pleasure, sir.
And I'd like to thank the audience for watching and bearing with us, and I'd like to thank all people who watch the show afterwards for watching and supporting the channel. And next week, I have no idea. I'm going to now ask Ed, as I did with Ham. I have one friend in Tokyo who's given me a recommendation of a voice actor that may be my next week's guest. But do you have anybody you think will make a good guest, and you could maybe give me the details of?
I've actually thought about that question for 2 days. I really can't. I can't think of anyone.
Well, thank you for trying. Anyway. Okay.
I knew you were going to ask that, but no.
Okay, no problem. I may end up next week having to do another live stream on a random location. Until then, folks, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. And thank you, Ed, for joining.
My pleasure.
We'll say goodbye.
My pleasure.
Bye, everybody.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.